good to me. I knew I couldn't keep it to myself, right? And so I am going to be sharing, in case you did or did not catch the description and title of the live, right? If you know for a fact that you're not going to be retiring from your 9 to 5, please do not quit without this one thing that I'm getting ready to share with you. Like, you need this, right? And I'm going to get into it in just a second. If you're here with me live, do me a favor and type quit in the comments. If you happen to be watching the replay, type quit in the comments. And I'll come back through and show you some love as well. If you happen to be new to me and you're here by some stretch of divine divine assignment, I'm super excited for you to be here as well. I'm Danielle, the coach. I'm a certified life and leadership coach. I help millennial entrepreneurs unapologetically break up with the status quo and create the life of their wildest dreams. And it looks a couple of different, it can look a couple of different ways depending on where you are in your entrepreneurship journey. You could be dealing with not having clarity about what's next in your life. You could be dealing with not having the confidence to quit what's no longer serving you. And that could be a number of different things. And primarily, it's the 9 to 5 that's still in the way. Or it could be calibrating all of the things that you have going on, managing business, managing life, managing entrepreneurship, even managing the 9 to 5, managing leadership. Like, there's a lot of balls that you keep in the air, a lot of things that you're juggling. And so I support you with figuring out like what life balance looks like for you and how you can maintain in a sane and civilized way. So those are the ways that I show up and I serve my clients. And you may see me looking a couple of different ways. So I'm live in Facebook land and YouTube land, and I'm also live on Instagram. So y'all bear with me because I wanted everybody, wherever you are, to be able to catch this and just hear, because I know this is not just for me. And I feel that way about a lot of the things that I experience, a lot of my testimonies that I have, especially on this journey of quitting 6-figure careers 2 times, right, and landing on my feet. So I want to invite you to book a complimentary strategy session with me, right? If you know that you have been trying to figure this thing out, like something's got to give, something's got to shift, I invite you to go to www.daniellethecoach.com/apply, complete the questionnaire, find a date and time that works best for you, and we'll have a conversation and see what next might look like for you, right? Just see what you got going on. Like, what's the worst that can happen? So I want to invite you to do that. But in the interim, I want to get into my download, right? So I was thinking about, and I have no idea why I was thinking about this today, but I was thinking about the first time I quit a 6-figure job, right? And landed on my feet. And that experience was like something out of like the storybook experience. And so one of the downloads, hey Mike, one of the downloads that I had was when I made the decision to quit, like there was a series of events that happened. And so the thing that I want to share with you, like if you know that you know that you know that you know that you're not going to be retiring from your 9 to 5, like please quit without confidence. Like, you need confidence. And so what I know to be a fact is that a lot of times a lack of confidence keeps you stuck. Because you're not sure about this, you're not sure about that, and you begin questioning all of these things, right? But my question for you is like, what are you seeking confidence in? What are you putting your confidence in? And what I also know to be true is a lot of my fellow go-getters put their confidence in how I'm gonna make it happen, right? I know I've been being pulled this way to do this thing that's like different, it's unconventional, it's unprecedented. I have no idea how I'm gonna make it happen, but there's something that just keeps nagging at me. But I keep doing that double Dutch rock. I'm not jumping in the ropes yet. It's been years I've been talking about this, right? It's been months I've been talking about this thing, but I haven't done anything yet. And it's because your confidence is in the how. And it's misplaced. The confidence shouldn't be in the how. The secret weapon is your confidence being in the fact that you know that you're going to figure it out. You know that you're going to be okay. And the how is just going to reveal itself along the way. So if you erase waiting for the moment when you have all of the 1,750,000 steps that's going to get you from where you are to the vision that you know that you have, when you let go of that and waiting to have all of those answers, the game is going to change, right? You got to look internally and figure out, remind yourself, not figure out because you already know, but you got to remind yourself who you are, who you've been, like what you've overcome, what you've accomplished, all of these things. Like, you're the secret sauce. It's when you're in the mix that things happen. You got the juice. You're a go-getter, right? So it's that misplaced confidence in like the how and redirecting that to you. I'm confident. You got to have faith, right? Where is your faith? What is your faith in? And what I also know is that the confidence comes into play when you are decisive, right? Because if you've made a decision, then you've decided. If you've made a decision, but you haven't acted on it, the decision is to not do anything. Indecision is an action as well. So you may be saying you made a decision. Well, no, the real decision is what you actually are doing or not. Because inaction is a decision as well. And so being decisive is like the undercurrent to the confidence that you're missing. But the undercurrent to that is doing the opposite of what I just described, like not waiting to act on it. And this thing right here, the needle in the haystack, is what I was able to realize today that was instrumental in me being able to give my 2 weeks notice within a couple of days of making my decision and do it like unapologetically and with confidence, because I decided. But not only did I decide, like I acted on it, because that space in between where you say, okay, I'm going to do this thing, and you don't act on it, it allows all of these things to like brew and fester, and for you and your go-getting self to talk yourself out of what's next and what's possible for you. And I'm gonna go a step further with the story and share with you like why, oh, I get chills thinking about it, why I know that the action part is the driver, like me not waiting to do something about it is the driver, is because of what was waiting for me on the other side of my decision. Like, I want to encourage you, hey Jackie, I want to encourage you like that there are people and resources waiting for you to move in what you've decided, waiting for you to move in your purpose, waiting for you to move in faith. They're waiting for you. And I promise you that you'll never know who they are or what the resources are that they have if you continue to do the same thing expecting different results. And let me tell you what was waiting for me on the other side. Oh Lord, I hope I don't cry. It's just such a powerful like testament. But I came back from vacation, and depending on how long you've been following me, you may have heard part of this before. I came back from vacation in the Virgin Islands. Got back in the office on a Monday. Did my duty for the day. Was commuting into work on that Tuesday, and I remember I was in the DC area, so mass transit is a thing, right? So I had taken the commuter train from Baltimore. Now I was on the bus headed from Union Station to my job, and while I was commuting, I reflected on something that had happened the day before, which was my first day back from vacation. And I had went into my supervisor's office for a meeting, and I greeted him. And I believe he was having a conversation with someone else. But I walked in and I'm like, good morning. And I was ignored, right? And I was like, okay, I'm fresh off vacation. This is what we're doing. Okay. And I guess it didn't bother me so much in the moment, but it was like the after the fact, like the under the current type of stuff. And so it kind of bubbled up that next morning while I was dog tired, being 2 days back from vacation. And I'm like, why am I doing this? And that's when the thoughts started to spiral. And that's when I really started to be present. And I know that the vacation was instrumental in me being able to be present because I came back with a clear head for the most part. Like I wasn't like eyeballs deep in like the hustle bustle. And it was just like I was able to be present with what was happening and not just tucking it away. And so I asked myself, I'm like, why am I doing this? At this juncture, this place needs me more than I need it. I got savings. I don't have any debt. I'm staying with my grandparents right now. We're saving to buy a house, all of the things. And I'm just like, it's not adding up. The math ain't mathing. And so by the time I had these thoughts that spiraled on the bus, I reached out to what I call my personal board of directors, right? Those who I hold near and dear, whose opinions I value. And it was just to be like, hey, this is what I'm thinking. Like, will you support me? And it's like morally, like I didn't need the financial support at that time, just moral support. We had those conversations. And when my decision was already really like made up, but it was just like me putting feelers out, right? So that was a Tuesday. And I knew by the time I got to work, I was done. And it was just a matter of time for me to write my resignation letter and give it to them. So I decided to wait until Friday, right? And so I wrote my letter and I submitted it to my management on that Friday. And that was when like the divine favor and reward for taking what I'm going to call calculated risk began to just like pour from like a never ending faucet. There were people who found out that I was leaving the organization and just could not fathom that I was leaving the organization and went way out of their way to try to stop me from leaving the organization because they recognized my talent and the value that I brought to the organization, like genuinely. And they were making phone calls. My name was being spoken in rooms that I didn't even know about. I was a part of conversations that I didn't know about. I had my work phone, my desk phone from somebody who I highly respected and was in a leadership position, a hiring manager that was like, "Hey, I heard you were leaving. Not sure what's going on, but there is room in my where I am. If you're interested, let me know." And I also know somebody else who's looking for some good people. If that sounds like interesting, let me know and I'll make the phone call. And it's just like when you think about like, what if I hadn't made the courageous decision? And it didn't feel courageous. It felt like, yeah, the math ain't mathing. Like I'm out, right? I got a math degree. I can go be a math teacher. I got an IT, a master's in IT. I can figure it out. Like it wasn't coming from the courageous space, although I do know that it look hindsight being 2020, it was pretty courageous what I did. And so knowing like thinking about like what if I had never done that? Truth be told, I might still be sitting at that same desk right now, 7 years later, thinking and praying and hoping and dreaming about doing. I can't even say doing what I'm doing now because this is beyond my wildest dreams, being able to serve people and welcome my purpose and doing all of the amazing things that I do as a life and leadership coach. But what if I hadn't made that decision? And so when I tell you that there's people and there's resources that are waiting for you on the other side of your decision, when there's people and there's resources waiting for you on the other side of your faith, decide and act on it. Don't sit in it, because as quick as you make the decision to do something, the longer you sit in it, the way our brains are wired as go-getters, as wise and experienced as we are, we'll let life experience and what doesn't seem to make sense, what doesn't seem precedented, what doesn't seem comfortable, talk us out of our breakthrough. So I'm gonna come back to the whole point of me, the title of this video, right? If you know that you're not going to be retiring from your 9 to 5, meaning that you have plans to quit at some point before you're retirement eligible. And if you're watching this and you're still hanging here with me and you percolate in circles that I've created, or you engage with any of my content, for you, it's probably going to be a lot sooner than later. Make sure that you do not quit without confidence. And it's not the confidence in the how you're going to do it. It's the confidence that you're going to be okay by any means necessary. Why? Because you're a go-getter. You always figure it out. And is there a chance that you might fail? Absolutely. And anybody who tells you otherwise is lying to you. Anything is possible. But what I know about you as a go-getter is that you will turn a failure into a lesson. You always bounce back. You absolutely, positively always bounce back. Even if you stay down for a little bit, as a go-getter, you always bounce back. And so you got to remind yourself of who you are in this season. Or when you're in that season and you're like, listen, I've been doing this double Dutch rock. I've been doing this thing. It's time. No time. Trust your gut and know that there are mind-blowing resources waiting for you on the other side of making a confident decision, on the other side of your faith, and on the other side of you doing what you know in your gut that you need to do. But you'll never know what's waiting for you until you answer the call with confidence. With confidence. And I'm going to share this one more thing before I let you go. I'm also reminded in that same season of that particular job, that I quit, in that 2-week span of me quitting or putting in my notice, one of my good girlfriends came up to me in the organization. And mind you, I was making 6 figures. And she knew, we know GS levels or whatever. And she came up to me and she was like, girl, you're not scared? Like, you're making some good money. And I'll never forget that I was just like, I said, no, I'm good. I got options. And it was the most nonchalant response that I remember given. And like, even thinking back on it, it's just like the audacity of me. But I was confident. And let me tell you, I was not confident in how. I was confident in me. And my rationale was, I got 2 degrees. I'm not really doing anything with either one of them. I'm teachable. I'm trainable. Like, I'm going to figure it out. And I got some savings to buy me some time, a little bit of time, right? And I'm going to figure it out. I just got to get away from here so I can think straight and figure this thing out. Why? Because I always figure it out. I just need the space and the mental capacity and the clarity to be able to do what I need to do. I'm going to be fine. I have no idea what it's going to look like, but I'm going to be fine. And what it turned into was those people that were making those calls on my behalf, those people that were calling me, like rolling out the red carpet for me, like unsolicited, it turned into me stepping into, I'll probably say, it's in a close running for first and second, like my dream job. And I ended up staying with the organization, right? So that time I did give my notice, right? The clock was ticking. And that Thursday of the second week was when things started to unfold, because other people, the resources, were moving on my behalf, all because I made a confident decision. And I was done until this amazing opportunity presented itself. And then I made another decision that, you know what? I think I want to do that for a little while. And I did that for about 4.5 years because I wanted to, right? But it all started, and that opportunity only presented itself because I made a confident decision to remove myself from a space that was no longer, because I knew that there was more, and because the math wasn't mathing. It may sound simple, And I'm not going to discount anybody's journey or experience, because I know you can go through mental gymnastics with this thing, right? But I want to encourage you, don't put your confidence in the how, because there's so many things waiting for you, and you just want to take on one by one by one. But put your confidence in who you know that you are, right? Put your confidence in your track record. Remind yourself of who you are and the fact that you're not afraid of challenge. You're a problem solver. You're a go-getter, and you always figure it out. So listen, if this confidence thing has been eating you alive, I want you to know you do not have to figure this thing out by yourself. I want to invite you to have a complimentary strategy session with me. All you have to do is go to www.daniellethecoach.com/apply. Complete the questionnaire, find a time on my calendar that aligns with your schedule, and let's have a conversation. Like, there is more waiting for you on the other side of your decision, whatever the decision is, but you got to make the decision, make it confidently, and then act on it. That's all I got, y'all. If this served you in any way, do me a favor. Let me know in the comments. And if you know somebody who also needs to hear this, share the wealth. Send this their way, okay? All right, I'll see y'all next time. Thank you for tuning in.